welcome to Asia Down Under. Today a very special program on a special organisation and its leader that runs it. We report on the Starship Foundation, a charity that funds our National Children's Hospital. And we meet its CEO, Andrew Young. Geraldine takes up our story.
The fragility of life. Children are an incredible gift, a source of joy and delight. But their lives are often the most vulnerable. When there's a problem, this is where they end up, the Starship Children's Hospital. This is where the most delicate lives are nursed back to health every day. And the cost of doing this is huge. This is what's on Andrew Young's mind as he pounds the pavement preparing for the day ahead. It's the way this entrepreneur clears his head and comes up with innovative ways to make money. It's his job to raise $10 million each year from everyday New Zealanders on behalf of our country's littlest lives. Andrew runs one of New Zealand's most prominent charities, the Starship Foundation. He spends his days asking for your money so the Starship Hospital can provide the best medical treatment that's available. And that certainly doesn't come cheap.
We as a charitable foundation run on the smell of an oily rag, and so does the public health sector. So we try and maximise every cent that comes into this organisation, and we wring the goodness out of everything to create more goodness for the children. So I'm really proud that I run the foundation with a very keen eye to all of our finances and all of our expenditure. We try and get as much for free as possible, and that means begging at every opportunity. And I'm not too proud to beg, and I do it every day. G'day, Brona. How are you?
Foundations like this are not uncommon.
Thank you for coming
While
in.
our government covers the Starship Hospital's basic costs, the Foundation's fundraising ensures the healthcare provided is on par with the top hospitals in the world.
But there's no government or system in the world that I've studied or been told of where it can fund everything that's required within a country's health needs or health wants. So foundations, fundraising foundations like the Starship Foundation exist in every first world country, and we're here to put the icing on the cake to raise additional money that can save more lives, provide more comfort and do more good.
This morning, Andrew is off to visit the Starship's new MRI site. The foundation has raised the $4.5 million needed for this project, which is now in its final stages.
Okay. And as you can see, they've had to leave a space down here to actually bring the machine in through the wall this weekend.
Up until now, the Starship Hospital has had no MRI machine of its own. The staff are thrilled they are receiving a state-of-the-art piece of equipment.
This is a fantastic machine for children, not just in Auckland, for the whole of New Zealand. We've had a great limit on the access to MRIs. Some children wait more than a year to get a scan, and if you're a family with an ill child, that's just, it's just incomprehensible.
In the past, children have had to be transported to the main adult hospital. The new MRI will be an environment just like this CT scanner in the room next door, far more appropriate to the needs of children.
It's been kitted out for children. They normally will have nice, the decor in the room will be for children, so there'll be child-friendly toys. The staff, especially trained, they're used to dealing with children, and it's a slower pace in the adult department. Everything's much quicker. You're getting the patients in and out of the room as quick as you can, whereas here there's more time.
Providing the right environment is just as important for teenagers.
You can have the best doctors, you can have the best drugs in the world, but unless you get the physical facility right, that's stimulating, that provides hope for children, you're not giving them the total treatment package. And what we were finding with our teenagers in particular was that our New Zealand teenage survival rates with oncology were starting to dip and fall compared to best practice units around the world. And in studying that further, we found that our facility was severely lacking. So the teenagers would often give up hope and they'd become non-compliant with their treatment regimes because they didn't want to continue.
This prompted a massive refit of the oncology ward for cancer patients last year.
Kids loving it, getting really good use out of everything. I don't think, honestly, looking back, I don't think there's anything we would have done differently. We were really delighted with what we got.
The foundation raised $6 million for this rebuild from many generous donors.
Really, really good, getting great use out of it. The kids are doing a lot of activities.
The new ward, which was designed in consultation with the ward's patients, has a separate area for teenagers and younger patients, more natural light, a bigger playroom, and artwork designed and chosen by the patients painted on the walls.
So the floors are looking good.
Yeah, that looks great. So the artwork, the teenage artwork has worked really well. Symbols have been fantastic. Yeah. And as you know, we wanted the teenagers to get sort of a sense of connection through the artwork.
Yeah.
And that has really happened. They read the
these look good.
stories. Yeah. And we've rolled out the icons, so each of the kids has an individual icon. We started with the teenagers, but we're heading down to the children's area, and you'll see that all the children are actually starting to choose their own piece of artwork as well.
And the new private rooms are a massive improvement on the old.
Yep, so the rooms have worked out really well. Lots of space for the kids, and that's been really important because children stay in the rooms for a really long time. Mostly they just want something to do when they're in their hospital bedroom, so we've got new flat screen TVs, which have been great. We've got PlayStations, so they can do some gaming. For the parents, because the parents actually room in, we've got fold-down beds, so beds for the evening, and just a couch that comes away from the wall.
For Andrew, seeing the benefits firsthand makes the hard work all worth it.
Do you know how much it costs us to redo this?
7 million, was it?
Almost, yeah. Just over $6 million. I had to shake a lot of buckets to get that sort of money. And what do you think of it?
It's better than the old one. It's more colourful and light.
I've been personally connected with many of the families that have come through, and you see the pain and you see the agony and you see the total experience that those families go through. So in the old ward we saw a lot of suffering, there was a lot of misery, and it felt very personal to me and my team that we were able to do something very constructive, and we turned that misery into commitment and focus to rebuild a state-of-the-art ward that we hope will boost the survival rates of those children going through the oncology ward.